Dark fantasy covers usually have the same stuff. Dark colors, maybe a weapon, some fog in the background, hooded figures if you're lucky. I picked 5 books that recently came out on Amazon. Let's see what's going on, and at the end I will take one and show how I would do that. This is Alex from EasyKDP, let's go! So let's start with the first book, Lord of the Mysteries, Madness, Magic and the Shadows of Elder Beings, Cuttlefish That Loves Diving. Book is created with ChatGPT and it's super obvious. I have nothing against AI, but at the same time, if the first thing you're thinking, looking at the cover, that okay, that's another ChatGPT, this is bad. Second thing, it's not obvious what is the title of the book, what is subtitle, what is author's name. Lord of the Mysteries, is it the name of the book? And Cuttlefish That Loves Diving, is it the name of the series? Or Madness, Magic and the Shadows of Elder Beings is the name of the series. So it's absolutely confusing. If it's confusing for me, it will be confusing for reader. Illustration, generic, randomly stuffed elements on the cover. Book cover shouldn't literally explain what is inside the book, but it should give a hint, it should catch your attention, it should intrigue you. Here we see just absolutely random elements which are not related to the title of the book or subtitle of the book, and we say no to this cover. Let's move to the next one. Next book today is Death Comes Knocking. I actually like this cover much more. There is definitely something going on in the illustration. I'm curious about those skulls. There is some intrigue. I'm not sure about the composition of the title. It looks a little bit weak to me. I actually want to have a little bit more contrast background behind the title, so it will pop a little bit more. I'm not sure about the placing of the author name. Looks a little bit like afterthought to me. Like, yeah, we have some empty space here, so let's place the author here. It's not the best approach. I'm pretty sure there is a better solution. But overall, I like the cover. It provokes some curiosity. It's intriguing. I think it fits the genre. So it's much more yes than no. We say to this cover yes. Next cover is Werewolf Save Me. First of all, I like the illustration. I think it reflects the title, creates certain mood, and I think the idea of illustration is great. The execution is not so great because it's obviously ChatGPT style, but the main problem here is the title of the book. First of all, there is no punctuation. Werewolf Save Me. There should be a comma, exclamation mark. So this absence of any punctuation in the title looks extremely unprofessional. Composition of the title, its placing, it's absolutely random. It's how ChatGPT creates that, okay, we have some empty space here, let's stuff the words over there. It looks absolutely AI-ish, and despite somewhat attractive illustration, we still say to this cover a no. The next book today is Death Hymns of Homara by Zamil Akhtar. I like how the title looks here. The typography is interesting, kind of intriguing, and probably fits the genre. But the main question, why the title is so small? There is so much space on the top and on the sides. The title definitely can be bigger, and if it can be bigger, usually it should be bigger. Because on a thumbnail view, the bigger your title is, the better. I'm also not a huge fan of the background illustration of this monster. I think it's not prominent enough to bring anything to design. It's not visible enough. At the same time, it creates visual mess that make the title looks less contrast. So what I would do, I would either make this monster more prominent and visible, or I would get rid of that completely and make the title more contrast and more popping up. A Gunmetal Gods novel, it's obviously the name of the series, and it actually sounds pretty intriguing, but unfortunately this text is just flying on the top of the cover without any visual anchor, without any connection to the rest of the layout. So despite being promising, despite having pretty interesting typography of the title, I think this book cover still demands a lot of work to be finalized, so we will stay neutral on this today. So the next book we discuss today is Amber's Hollow by Saint Arkham. I think this is the most promising design of all those we saw today. It has very attractive color scheme, this classical black and red. It has the image that provokes curiosity. The title of the book is in classical font that works pretty well for this particular genre. It's what I don't like on the cover. First of all, don't use by. Second, there are a lot of subtitles. There is a lot going on the cover. are in terms of text blocks. Author's name, we see the title, we see subtitle, Home of the Homeless, another subtitle for devotional tales, so written in two different fonts. There is no hierarchy here. I would suggest to get rid of at least one subtitle. So as I promised in the beginning of the video, I will redesign one of the 2-day covers, as this one I think the most promising one. Let's see if we can improve it further. So first of all, I created several alternative illustrations that might work better. Picked one. Let's make it darker on the edges and brighter in the center, so the image will pop. Let's add the title, author's name, subtitle. I kept only one. Experiment a little bit with the color of the title, maybe adding some gradient fill, few final touches, and that's it. Let me know which one you like more in the comments. And if you want a professional cover design for your book, don't hesitate to visit our website easykdp.com. You can see our portfolio there, you can see our pricing. Thanks for watching, see you next time.